on, everybody? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? All right, just getting in here. Get a little something going. All right. Man, I'll tell you, man, this weather, man. 1 minute, hey, I'm sorry about the music in the background. I don't own the rights to that music, but hey, that's when I love me some jazz. Love me some jazz. So, yep. All right, everybody. So what I'm doing is going live, making sure, waiting to see if a few people get on here, and a few guests on here. Give me a second. All right. All right, hold on a second. Let's see who this is. All right. Okay, everybody. So we're good. But like I said, you joining? You got here anyway?
Well, you can't. I just can't have them looking at the living room, sweetheart.
You can just pause it because
You can't pause it. How you supposed to pause it? Like that?
Lay that right there. There it is. You can talk from a distance. Everybody. Now my wife is cooking, man. So she's doing her. She's taking care of some things that she wants. We on that. We on that. There you go again. There it is. Okay, I love you, beautiful.
What's up?
What's wrong, beautiful? Oh, you gonna hang in with me? You hang out with me? Yeah. You gonna hang out with your boy?
What's the topic for today?
The topic of the day is talking about the simple IRA versus the SEP. So, like I said, I looked more into it, and the thing about the simple IRA, like I said, of course we qualify if we do it as a company. We try to do things as a benefit for the company. You can try to say, okay, how do we benefit that for as a hiring tool. You know what I mean? So you tell companies as a hiring tool, like let's say a small business, and you want to hire somebody. A lot of times, a lot of people are looking for what? They're looking for some kind of 401k. And thank you. And so that simple is more of that way as long as you got 100 employees or under, and that's where that. And then with the SEP, it'll be just like if it's just me and you, and we just want to, since we owners, we don't have to, like have other, invest with somebody else, like even though I'm the owner, and then like I said, yeah, you work for the company, then I will have to see on the SEP, you can have the option of matching or not, but when you're on the simple, the option of matching is there for your employees. You see what I'm saying? And that's the thing about the simple IRA and the SEP. It's like, and then the thing about it is that the simple is is for people like, let's say for instance, like one of somebody earns over $5,000, then they qualify, and you can do 2 to 3% as from an employer investment. You know what I'm saying? The highest is like 3%, I think. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so in the SEP, you don't have to. In the SEP, you don't have to contribute as an employer.
You don't have to.
And you have to have your own. You have to have a business. So that's not based off employees. You see what I'm saying? So like with you being self-employed with Crawford Natural, um, or and along with Crawford Transportation, then if Crawford Natural you say, okay, let's say automatically see, I think you would probably be better under the simple you as far as under Crawford Transportation, and now under Crawford Natural,
Mm-hmm.
you can do the SEP because it's just you.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Now when
Mm-hmm.
you get into your employees, now that's the thing. What's Barron's brother Dennis? I think it's Dennis.
The what?
Barron. We have to talk to our accountant about it. Because like I said, the one thing since we have our simple or our SEP from a company perspective, I do need to find out if I'm going to use it as a hiring tool, would it be easier for me just to go up under the simple? But and the thing about the simple is it's just the same as the SEP. The only difference is open up to employees. That's the only difference. So, but it has this, like I said,
I think
especially.
do when you have a set and you get employees, don't you have to contribute 100% as an employer?
Not
They
the
don't have
SEP,
to contribute.
not the SEP. The simple is what a company would set up. You'll set up a simple because now because the SEP is technically it's technically for a self-employed. It's a self-employed pension. Technically, it's like if you're a subcontractor, you can do a SEP. Like you can set it like you setting up your SEP. Then like as a contractor, you like if you was a contractor on the crop transportation, then what happens is if we pay you straight, right? Then you take your money and you deviate your taxes that way. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So if
but
I pay you, well, go ahead.
but the SEP, well, also too with the SEP, you don't have to wait. You could take the money out and don't have to pay taxes on it. I don't think.
Now you got yeah, but it's a certain percentage you can sit in there, per pay period,
Yeah,
per you know. So that's what that. But like I said,
they pay taxes on it after they take it out. Employees don't
yeah,
have to pay taxes on the money until they withdraw it
yeah,
at retirement.
exactly. Retirement, yeah. And then if you're at a retirement age, it's only a percentage. It's higher now. You take it out, that's why you want to roll it into your stock. See, the thing about the SEP, you can roll that into stock. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why you see a lot of people um they have contracts. I mean, sorry, like they subcontractors and things like that. And but a lot of they do it for tax savings, but a lot of them don't have a SEP.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
And
Yeah.
so the simple IRA, and me and you can talk about this off the wire. Um, but hey, what up, Tan? How you doing? How you doing, baby girl? Tan on it, man.
Hey, Tan.
So Carrie. Um, so that's what I'll tell anybody. If you got, you got a small business. Uh, hey, Tan. She said, hey, auntie. So, if you got a small business, subcontractor, go to your bank, you know, get you a LLC, and you know, start saving.
Mm-hmm.
If you work for a company, I understand. They might have a
Yeah.
401k,
Mm-hmm.
but you know, um, if you want to invest your money in the stock, hey, Carrie,
Hey, y'all.
what up, bud? Hey, yeah, and and that's the thing. You want to make sure that yeah, everybody. My wife blacking out for a second. She got a little meal down. We got a little
I'm
meal going
still
on.
here.
You know what I'm
I'm here.
saying?
Can
But
you hear me?
I hear you well. Hear you well.
Okay, yeah. I'm right
Yeah,
here.
so everybody, my
Put it
wife
on
got
pause for a second.
my wife got sophisticated So we got the Crawford, you got the Crawford CLA logo in the background, so she can, kind of hide what we doing. But anyway, it's, something smelling good. That's what's going on. But anyway, but
I'm
yeah, so that
multitasking. How about that?
that what it is, multitasking. Okay, cool. I'll take that one, man. So, but anyway, everybody, the thing about it, what I was saying is that, you get you an LLC, start your small business, and as you get contracts coming in, the money coming in, open you a SEP, which is, it's a simplified um, employee pension. Just open it up. And that way, what happens is you can, put money in it, and then if you want to, then from there, and invest in stock. You can invest in the kind of stock you want to invest in, and at the same time, But the one thing I will say, start with an accountant. Get you a CPA. Consult with your CPA and tell them what you're doing, and that way your CPA will be like, hey, yeah, that's a good idea because you do have an LLC. Make sure your LLC is registered, and just try to because at the end of the day, especially y'all millenniums, um, I use this platform for education. I don't use this platform for um, talking about politics and the things in the manner. But if I do bring politics in it, it's going to be as of just trying to get you to think about future things. Uh, so everybody knows that there's always been talk about Social Security, and how it's going to be there, or it's not going to be there, and so for the millenniums, me personally, I would automatically start a small business. I'd be an LLC, and what most everybody don't understand, you start your little small LLC transportation business. Hell, you can go do DoorDash. Guess what? Transportation. Something small like that. See, that's what I mean when I say, on here, I'm gonna try to give it to you as simple as I can. The thing about because I feel like you should, especially in this day and era, and you're a millennium, I want, because think about it. Me and my wife, we just went and opened our, we just did our SEP, and truly, I will say, like I said, I don't mind admitting my faults, but my faults was because I didn't have anybody to explain it to me like I'm explaining it to everybody on this live. I didn't have someone to tell me, hey, go open you a SEP. Go get you a self-employment pension plan, 20 years ago. If I had that right there, I would be that one. But I admit that. But guess what? I did open me one for, I just put $100 in there just to get started. Somebody said, okay, why you ain't put more? Well, I really wanted to make sure that, especially as an owner, do I have is, because at the end of the day, I am an owner of a business, and and so there's certain things I do as incentives to try to draw in, drivers and things like that. So the thing about me is that my SEP is me, but at the same time, I am Crawford Transportation. You know, that's where I tell everybody, say, hey, so mine is a little bit more complicated because I have employees. And so, so with all that said, you know, there's a little bit more things that I have to do different. Now, if you don't have an employees, you get you a SEP. I'm sorry, get you a SEP. And that way what happens is it's just you. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say, knowing the difference between the two, but get you an IRA, get you something going, and save you some money. Because what happens is, if you're in your 30s right now, 20 years from now, you'll thank me. So my niece Tan and Carrie, y'all not in y'all 30s. Y'all knocking on the door, but y'all not there yet. But y'all got businesses
The
small.
sooner they start, the better.
the better. Yeah.
Yeah, the sooner you start, the better. I always think about that.
And 30 years from now, you'll thank me. Well, yeah, because y'all will
Because
be somewhere around my.
having something outside of your company, most people depend on their 401ks to retire, but we have seen
Yeah,
that some people, once you go through a layoff, you
that's it.
know, you could keep your 401k, but when you go through an unexpected layoff, you got to depend on your 401k to hold you over sometimes until you find another job because you may not find
Yeah.
one as quickly as you desire, and you got a whole household full of expenses.
I
So
get
it's
perfect.
always good to have
Mhm.
a savings plan outside of your 401k.
Exactly, babe. And babe, I'll say this. I did not know that last year in 2024 there was 10,000 transportation business went out. 10,000 transportations went out of business. Trucking
10,000
companies.
transportation
Trucking companies.
businesses closed.
Trucking companies. Trucking companies.
10,000 trucking companies closed.
Yeah,
Large
10.
trucking companies
Well, I'm not. I
or
don't know if they
small.
large, but they was in between. They didn't see what happens is they go off your MC number.
That's
So
true.
what
That's true.
so it's
So
not.
regardless of,
Yeah,
yeah, it's
that's
just
how.
10,000. That's still a big
Yeah,
number regardless if they were
yeah.
large or small.
It's and so you think about, from my understanding, it's over 3 million drivers in America, right? And they still have a shortage of 66%. I think so. I think it's 60% shortage or whatever. It's a shortage. The thing about it is that if somebody would told me in '96, you know, which because he's being educated on 401k, and like, man, you start saying to yourself, "Yeah, I don't mean you're gonna be here long enough." What up, Perry?
You
And
will be.
but that's what you think. You at that
Well, you
time you're not
well you
thinking
don't
that.
know.
Yeah,
You
it's
don't
like
know,
I'm
which is
gonna use
why beneficiaries should be added
yeah,
because you don't know.
exactly. But I'm gonna use Tan and I'm gonna use Carrie, right? I'm gonna use them, and I'm not throwing ladies. I'm not throwing y'all business out there like that. But y'all, I know y'all younger than 30. Y'all younger, so if I use them, it's just because
You
and
just
like I
say
said, yeah,
20-year-olds in general.
yes, 20 year in general. So y'all millenniums. They're millenniums. They're right in the millennium phase. So what up, bruh? So and so what I'm saying is that if they're in their, if they're in, let's say they're in their upper 20s, right? So let's use a number like 25. Let's just use that number. All right. So if you say 25 right now, and they got their small businesses, and they say, okay, I'm gonna go the next 25 years and contribute into my SEP, they'll be sending them some money.
Yeah, they will.
I'm talking about you putting $50 in there a week, $100 in there a week. You get to save up to, from my understanding, y'all can do $7,000 a year. So y'all do 7,000 times that number. And all I'm saying is that I wish somebody would have told me this. But guess what was going on? We was in school, baby. What? We ain't had no internet, right? Technology is here. That's why when I read the book, The World is Flat, that's what it was about. The world is flat based on technology. Use it to your advantage. Get on
There's
these
a
lives.
yeah.
What's it, man? Hmm?
No, I was going to mention another book, but I'm not.
Which one? Go ahead. I mean, we just talk
I
about
ain't
book.
getting no.
We
I ain't getting
we
paid for it.
oh hey man, you right. See, that's what I'm
No,
talking about.
no
See, y'all
promo.
see that? Y'all see my white? Yeah, that ching
No,
ching.
I'm just kidding.
Mm.
What's it called? I have it over. I will teach you how to get rich. I'm pretty sure that book has a
You
lot
talking
of.
about? You talking about? What's the name? Rich Dad Poor Dad.
No,
Not that one.
no. I said it. I'll teach you how to get rich.
Hey, Carrie gave me some. What she
Carrie, I
put
got
on?
that from you, girl.
Carrie started laughing. She started laughing. She laughing. Um, but nah, the thing about the younger generations, if y'all use technology, shouldn't even be broke. I would teach you to be rich. Got you. You got that book from Carrie? You get that book from Carrie?
No, that's my book.
I know you said something about I got it from Carrie.
No, I got the no promo from Carrie.
Oh, okay. I got you. No, but all I was saying is that on the live, everybody, I'm trying to get everybody to understand. Me and my wife get on here every Tuesday, and like I've been in school, like we try to do it all, man. I
That coin girl.
I tell anybody, start your small business, get you an LLC. Um, and, 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 and when somebody invests in you, uh, oh yeah, make a TikTok. Yeah, you're right, Carrie. Make a TikTok on it. Yeah. Um,
Okay,
so,
I ain't think about that. Okay,
uh,
Carrie, I will.
yeah. So like I said, everybody, opportunities, man. Technology's here. And I tell the generation right now, just use it. You know what I'm saying? Build your LLC. Um, someone invest in you. Somebody give you $1. Take a percentage of that $1 and roll it into your taxes, roll it into your SEP, and then the rest of it, you do what you got to do with it. Keep your receipts. That way you pay some taxes with that $1. So you let's say you take $1 and you decide to say I'm gonna take this one little dollar. Let me see if I can get my calculator out, babe. I'm gonna get your calculator out. Man, it's always you got a pink calculator. Okay, so you got that $1 and you take that $1 and you say, okay, hey, I want to put uh, 5% of that $1 in there. Let me see what that is. No, I'm gonna do 20% of that $1. 20. Let's do it like this. Can I get that right? Hold on. That's crazy. Times 20%. All right. So everybody know that's 20 what? 20, 20 cent, right? Of course. All right. So I take 20 cent and put it in my SEP, right? All right. So that's 20 cent in my SEP, right? Times what? 52.
Really? Doing
52.
calculations.
I'm just doing it. Yeah. Okay. So that's 20 cent times 52, right? That's a year. That's just I'm using these diabolical numbers, right? So that's $10.40. Think about that, babe. $10.40. So that's $10.40, all right, times 25.
Times what?
Times 25. Even though that's $260. But you put 20 cents in there. My point I'm trying to get at, if you
Is
put
that a day
more
or a week?
to my no, I did that. I did it off $1. I just saying if you take a certain percentage out of your
Yeah,
$1,
you
my
said
point I was getting at
20 cent.
20 cent. Yeah. And
Did you do
that's
20 cent a
a
day or
day. No,
20 cent a week?
I did 20 cent. Oh, I did 20 cent a week.
52 weeks. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
52
what I'm,
weeks.
yeah.
Yes, I
Okay.
apologize. Yeah.
No.
So all I was saying is that's $260. The point
That's
I'm getting at,
$26. Yeah. So
that's
it still adds up. But
exactly.
see,
So
I
that's
think that's the reason why a lot of people don't save because they can't see their a lot of people who don't save are not good savers because they're impatient with the result. But they're
yeah.
not taking into account that um time goes by fast,
Yeah,
right?
the,
They want the end result like the next day.
yeah.
So, well, let me just say this. That's the type of person I am. That's why
Uh-huh.
it's hard for me to save because I'd be like, okay, I want to save $5,000.
That's
And then it's like painful because you want to hurry up. You want the $5,000 tomorrow, right?
yeah,
But,
yeah.
but if what I have to do is have it automatically come out,
So
and
it's
then
like ghost money, like ghost
and
money.
then
Like
when I see the result, I'm like, okay, cool, yes,
ghost
I'm
money.
happy that I
Yeah.
did it. But if it's left up to me to do it, life
It's
happens, and I'll forget to manually move the money into what account. So that's why when I save, I have to do automatic
deduction.
deductions. Yeah,
But see, but guess what? That's where we at now.
yeah.
That's what I said. That's what I said. It's what that old saying is never late. Then what is it? Never late. Then to what is it? Never.
Better late than
Yeah,
never.
yeah, that's it.
Better
Better late than
late
never. Thank you.
than never. And
Thank you,
it's
babe.
never too late to
Mm-mm.
start saving.
You
It's
know,
never too late.
you know that one thing they always say about, and I'm gonna use this as an analogy because um, they always, well, you know what? I'm not gonna say that because I'm on the live. We do that in our conversation. But anyway, it, you got time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When you're in your 20s, you got time. Like it's just like us talking to Noah and Junior, TJ. The thing about it is that with them, and, like I said, Carrie and Tan, you know, what up, Ant? What up? Why? That's my brother right there, brother Ant. They try to talk about some money, man. Talking about money, and so if I was their age right now, somebody is on this live telling me this, hey man, I'm doing like this. Get involved, man. And then what they do, man?
You so
Drake
funny.
ain't in them. He not in no more, so I can't do that no more. But anyway, but yeah, I digress. So anyway, but I'm just saying, that's why, that's why. What's my favorite book, babe? Hold on one second.
What's your,
How do I make that picture come up?
what picture?
Hold on, everybody. I'm
Hit the,
just gonna walk away from the live for one
where
second.
you
Hold on, babe.
going?
Hold on. Give me one second. One second.
Hit the camera.
Oh yeah, let me take the camera with me. Yeah, I'm gonna take the
No, no,
camera
no,
with
no,
me.
no. Hit the camera on the screen. See the icons at the top?
Yeah,
Hit the one and hit the second one.
gotcha.
There
All
you
right,
go.
everybody. So yeah, everybody. All I'm saying is I'm just running. I just need to get this right quick. So I just want everybody to understand. The reason why um, I I talk about it because it's one of those things that, and like my wife said, we talk about books. That's what we try to do. We try to educate everybody. You know what I'm saying? You know, and this is one of my favorite books. One of my favorite books. And you see that name? And so and so that's Carter. So my thing is that what happened is that Miseducated the Negro, Carter Goodwin, Mr. Carter Goodwin, Woodson, and so you have to. The point I'm getting at is that you get on auto, the auto book, ebook. I'm sorry, the audio book. You do what you need to do. Get educated. That's right, boy. Education for the alienation. You right, alienation. You right, bro. It's a classic. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. See, I got a professor. I got a professor Ant on him, man. Some people call him. You got a Professor Griff. We got a professor. We got a Professor Outlet. That's all. That's what we call it. We call Ant the professor. But anyway, but that's the thing. I think that with this technology today, come on, babe. It's the world is flat, man. For real. Like that's one of the best titles you can have of the book if you read it, because the world is flat because you got the internet. Matter of fact, when that book first came out, it was based off of like Cisco and all those type of programs back then. It really it has evolved since then. It's evolved since since I think that book came out like 28, 2008, some 2009, somewhere over there. I gotta go back and look at it. But the point is that you got Instagram, you got Facebook, you got Twitter, you got, well, yeah, I'm gonna call it Twitter. You got what's the other one, babe? With the blue, with the butterfly, the butterfly one, Blue Sky. You got TikTok. You got all kind of things out here that you can use as technology
To get
to learn how to get,
information.
yeah, and get
Mm-hmm.
money.
Yeah.
I mean,
The
you
time is
know,
now.
exactly. You could buy stock. What we got it on? What, Robinhood? Is it Robinhood, babe?
Yes,
Robinhood?
that's
Yeah.
right.
You know what
That's
I'm
right.
saying? We bull. I'm not trying to get them plugs like that, but I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
It's opportunity. So as a person that's driving a truck right now, that's why I wish more truck. I wish I wish more young people that would get into trucking, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because at the end of the day, it's your home away from if you don't know what you want to do. Most people go in the military. I get it. I get it. I'm not saying don't go in the military. But me, if somebody told me to do it all over again, I went to college. If I take a, what they call a hybrid bay, when you take a hybrid from college, hybrid, I think it's called.
I don't
So,
know of a hybrid college.
I'm talking not hybrid college, like when I take a year off. That's a hybrid, right? Like if like let's say you graduate from high school, right? And you decide, let's
That's a
say
gap. That's a gap.
gap, gap, gap year. That's right. I'm sorry. So you take a gap year, right? And let's
Yeah.
say you in college, you take a gap year. It's okay. I only did 2 years of college. Yeah, right. Thanks, Aunt. Thank you, Aunt. My wife said too. If I'm gonna do 2 years of college, cool. All right, I'm gonna take a gap, and I just want to drive a truck from point A to B and C, because it's really A to B and C. The reason why it's A, B, and C is because A, I want to pick it up. B, I want to get it to the customer. C, I want to get back home safely. That's the C. So, all right. So I do that for, let's say, 2 years. Technically, that truck is, guess what, babe? That's your home away from what? Home.
Yeah, it is.
I'm gonna take them 2 years and tell I'm gonna tell them, say, look, I'm gonna take some, I'm gonna ask, can I get a what you call a forbearing? And
A
then I go
forbear.
back to a forbearing to go back, take some time to how to pay it, and then save my money and then go back to school.
Yeah, a forbearance.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So when you do it like that, now you working towards something. But guess what? All that money I just made. See, that's why I tell somebody if I'm a school teacher, right? The bet if I was a school teacher, right? If somebody told me, say, okay, Tori, how can I make money school teaching? Look at player. Y'all got the best vacation. So it's nothing for you to work for an owner operator. So you take them y'all out of what school teachers out with 120 days? What during summer? Summer like what 90 days, babe? What's summer like? 90 days? And
You got me. I don't know.
and how and if you hear me, man, how long is the summer break? Is it like 90 days or 60 days? If you hear me, just let me know. But let's say it's 60 days, right? So just imagine if it's 60 days as a part-time job, and you just drive a truck. You tell the company you got a CDL. You say, okay, I'm gonna just go get my CDL. Cause guess what? Get your CDLs. I'm gonna take you for this. See, it said 2.5 months. So that's like what? That's 60 days and 60, like 90. I guess that's 90 days, almost 90 days. So it's like 70. So 60 days plus the
2.5 months.
2.5 months, right? So let's say what 70 days then, right? So if 70 days, I say okay, I'm gonna get my CDL, right? So I'm gonna say okay, I got my CDLs. Whatever county you in, 9 times out of 10, if you're an educator, they're paying for it. 'Cause I know in DeKalb, they allow you to get your CDL as long as you're a DeKalb residence, and you get like a break. The point I'm getting at is that if you say during the summer, I'm just gonna drive a truck, and then during the summer just driving a truck, and I'm just thinking, because that's all you're gonna be doing is thinking. But they do have summer school and things like that, depending on what they're gonna pay you versus what they're gonna pay you by driving a truck. Or like I said, kids that are in college. Kids that are in college say, okay, I get out for the summer, all right? Because like I said, right now I'm out of school for until the fall, right? So I got out last week. So let's say let's my break was May. So I got May, I got June, and I got July. I'm gonna go back to school to August. That's 90 days. So guess what? If I got a CDL, I go get my CDL. I'm I'm gonna run a little bit on the road job. Most these companies that take you. It's like I said, it's ways to make money in taking and put it up. You just got to be ready to hustle. It, I will say, if you were born in the 70s and the 60s, like we don't know nothing but hustle. To the generation today, I don't know if they know a lot of the hustle, but the thing about it, nobody told us about the simple IRA and the SEP IRA. You know, even if you don't want to drive a truck as a school teacher, you could tutor during the summer. There's so many things you can do. Um, you know, college kids find something, but create you an LLC. It's the simplest thing. Am I wrong, babe? Because I'm telling you,
Yeah, but some young people aren't don't understand the concept of an LLC. So some of them, they need guidance when it's in that area.
dang,
Like, you got adults.
how y'all do that on TikTok? My bad. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah, I was just sending a message.
I'm
Go
not
ahead, man. I'm listening, man.
miseducated.
Not you. I'm talking about them. I'm not talking about you, babe. I'm talking about them.
No, right. So what we're talking about is educational. So
Yeah.
that's what I mean. You have
Mm-hmm.
to educate the young people on the processes,
Mm-hmm.
right? I haven't read that book, so I'm not sure if that book discussed getting the
It
LLC
no,
on the
it no,
inside of it for a
no, it
young
doesn't.
person.
No, of course it
But
doesn't, because there was nothing talking about LLC. It's about.
no, but you asked me. You said
Mm-hmm.
it would be a good idea for young people to get an LLC. But my only point is
Mm-hmm.
that some young people
Mm-hmm.
don't know how
Mm-hmm.
beneficial LLC can be. But some young people do, because you see there are young people out here with businesses. But I don't know how.
When I use the term the miseducation of the Negro, I
I'm
use it
past
in a.
that. I'm just talking about what your last statement when you said that it's good for young people to get an LLC. So I'm agreeing with you. It is good for young people to get an LLC. You have a lot of young people out here
Mm-hmm.
that are starting businesses because they're selling T-shirts, they're starting clothing lines, they're selling
Mm-hmm.
their art, they're selling they're making their own music. So you do have a generation of kids out here that are starting small businesses. However, I don't know if they understand the concept of, hey, you could take a portion of your income from your small business and start saving for retirement. I don't know if that's a part of the conversations that they're having. You see what I'm saying? Because some people start businesses because they want fast money. They
Well,
want
that's why. That's why.
quick. They want that fast dollar, and then they want that fast dollar so they could go to Balenciaga and, and,
Yeah.
and go to Phipps Plaza to go shopping. So I'm not sure if LLC and retirement money is being plugged together. You see what I'm saying?
Oh no, I get it.
When they're starting their business.
No, I get it. That's why I was saying. That's why I was saying that at the end of the day, when I'm talking about the miseducation of the Negro, I use that book as a form of endower, where I'm like, hey, um, sometimes I have to clearly understand. We have to understand that and the thing about the book, it just simplifies the things about how we were educated in this perspective. A lot of things that was never really taught to, especially people of color, was finances. You dig what I'm saying? And that's where all this is what I'm talking about. And so and the thing about finances is that, like right now, like I already told you, and I got to get with you on that. And we'll talk we'll talk about that off the camera, and off the live. But that's why it was so imperative that we, because we did certain things with Noah and TJ, um, and TJ and Noah understand finances to a degree, um, but they still come back to mom and dad, excuse me, to ask questions if there's things they're trying to work on. All right, but our granddaughter is that chapter you want to spend time on as grandparents. You understand what I'm saying? See, that's where you start getting into that third generation. You know, and 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 sometimes, um, like I said, go back to the miseducation because the reason why I use the analogy of $1 was the fact is that if I took that very $260 that was times um, um, 20, and 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 you had 10 people do the same thing in your family, now that person has $2,600. All I'm saying is that it's like it's the small things that we as a culture have to understand finances, even through the tough times. Because I always talk about my grandparents. My grandfathers them have left this world pretty much over. I'll just say over 20 years now. And the very property they have is still here. You, you understand where I'm going at? That land is there. That land is there for the next generation on both sides of my family. So when I look at these guys, I look at these guys and say, okay, I know damn well they ain't make as much money as I make, and they did that. Come on, man. So the problem is that kind of like that old saying, out of sight, out of mind. That's what you were saying earlier. If I just let my money just go over here and I don't see it,
Mhm.
and it builds up. But
Mhm.
but that's the educational part. It's why, like I said, when me and you get on here and we're talking about something as simple as a simple IRA or a SEP IRA, and what's the difference in the two? Now, hey, you work for your company, they do got 401k, but I know a whole lot of guys that were working at, I'm not gonna call that trucking name on here because I don't want nobody to say I'm knocking them, but that trucking company went out of business, and it was a lot of guys that went out of a lot of guys' money was tied up in that business. And the only money they got back was what they invested.
Mhm.
See, that's what I mean when you're like, okay, my granddad them always had a garden in the backyard. Like, hey man, you better save for a rainy day, player. And that's what a rainy day is. That's why as you can start a small business, get you a little, get you a SEP IRA. Man, I don't care if you can grass for somebody, man. I don't care if you babysitting for somebody, man. I don't care if you dog walking for somebody, man. I tell that's what I mean when I get on here and talk to the young people, man. I wish somebody would have told me this years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like Tori, when I had I mean, come on, I had a detailing business when I was 21. I was hiring my partners. Somebody told me back then, you gotta, bro, you gotta, what was it called, on the spot, what is it, on the spot detail. Yep, on the spot detail, what it was on Carl Parkway, just washing car. I still got. Think about it. I still that shop vac. You see me vacuuming out the when I be cleaning out the grill and stuff. That very shop vac. That's a shop vac I bought for the business. That shop vac been around since I was 21. You know what I'm saying? So all I'm saying is that when I get on here live and I tell the people, look, man, me and my wife, we get on here and talk to y'all. We just talking about trying to get, talk to your kids, you know, just talk to the generation. Like my wife said, get them educated on certain things. Um, our grandparents and they did it one way, but today you can do it another way. And crop transportation, I'm sorry, CLA. all we try to do is just educate you. Me and my wife, we're gonna continue to take this thing to the next level. Me and her. And I'm hoping that everybody continue to join us. I mean, you can join us at CLA.com, which is, Crawford Logistics and Associates.com. You can join us at, you can DM us at Instagram. We're on Facebook. Just reach out to us, and let's talk. What I'm saying? That's the biggest thing about me and my little plug, let's talk, because at the end of the day, transportation, I tell anybody, 6 figures is nothing. Now, the thing about it, when you get them 6 figures, is what you do with a percentage of those 6 figures. Because if you got 100,000 coming in, which, the average truck driver is going to, the last I checked, it may, just, and I always get you to just, especially, you see the books, you took some accounting classes, you done a few things, but the last I checked, babe, $2,000 times 50 weeks, that is 100 grand, ain't it? I can't hear you. Hold on. Let me
Yeah,
see.
it is.
Yeah, yeah. And look, that's the minimum a truck driver will make. I mean, it's. I mean, the average truck driver would do it, get at least 50 cent. The average truck driver may get at least 50 cent. 50 cent times, let's say 600 miles. Yeah, the average truck driver may times 5. All right. So the average truck driver, let's just use an analogy. That's 1,500, right? Times, and that's just that, and babe, that's just literally the bare. If you got your own trucking business or whatever. Now don't get it. There's a lot of different things that go into it. If you're making $2,000 a week as a truck driver or small business, 100 grand. Most truck drivers can get somewhere. They can get somewhere if they'll make about $2,000 a week if you got independent or whatever have you. The thing about me, I'm gonna always try to show you how to hold on to it. Now, is things tough out here? They are very tough. I would not lie to you. You want to try to stay home? They're gonna be tough. Local, yeah. Rent the road, you're gonna be away from home and all that a little bit. But guess what? Stack your money. Put your money into a Roth, to any kind of IRA. If you're working for a company as a owner operator, or if you work for a company as someone that has, is lease, at least the purchase and things like that, give me a call so we can talk about that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, there's always good and bad in everything. So, but but anyway, babe, that was the SEP and the simple IRA. Wanted to touch bases on them. The SEP IRA is simplified employment pension. Like I said, that right there is more for owner operators that do not have employees. The SEP IRA is a saving incentives match plan for employees. What that plan does is basically have it where, if you have employees and you the employer, you can invest up to 2 to 3% into them
Contribute.
as long as contribute. I'm sorry, as long as they make $5,000 over $5,000 a year. So if they don't make over 5,000, then you can't really. It's really they can do it, but you don't have to contribute 2 to 3%. So um, and so like I said, someone that is just one employee, start your SEP and keep that business going. No matter what, if you're a teacher, as far as like you do, things on the side, create you something. You bake cakes. A lot of people that bake cakes, but a lot of times they don't have no, they don't have no, they be baking forever, and then they don't never have a company, and then somebody cut you a check
Yeah.
for,
Hmm.
and they don't realize that, you know, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I think a lot of the apps out here now that you can't even like tell somebody to do this money towards you, because if you do, they looking at that money. They they're trying to get at you like, hey man, hey, you deposit so much money a year in your
You're
account.
considered a business
Yeah,
account when a lot
exactly.
of people, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, so what everybody gotta understand is like, look, just do it the right way. That's the one thing I tell my team. Don't cut corners. When you cut corners, you be like Pinky. What Pinky told what Pinky told the driver? Hey, look at baby. Hey man, keep bending them corners like that, man. I'm about to spend this. I'm about to waste this yak on my $100,000 suit. My point I'm trying to get at. Don't cut corners, man. Just say, put your money in the bank, save it, and because, babe, that's what the elders did. They saved. Oh, I never forget my grandmother used to always have a purse, and she'd be like, I'd be like, Mom, grandma, can I get this? And you're like, okay, go get my purse. Man, she always had money in that mug. Like, I'm talking about dollars. You know what I'm saying? Like they like you said, they hide their money. They just they don't even know how much in there. You just they just say go get the purse. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying to you when you said, yeah, babe, it's best I just put it to the side because it's like, you know, if I gotta do it, it's one thing. If I have it just taken out, I don't even know what's over there. So it's
Mm-hmm.
basically like saying keep the change. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's an out of mind, it's a what, out of sight, out of mind kind of philosophy, but it works though. I don't think there's a. I think that's probably one of the best ways to be because time, like I said, what time don't do? Time don't wait on nobody. So. But anyway, baby, what you got going on, man?
Cooking dinner.
Lord Jesus, cooking dinner. What about Crawford Natural,
Um, Crawford Naturals. Check us out.
man?
I say the same thing every week.
I do want me hold them up, hey.
You're up there with the
Hold
there you
on,
go.
let me turn it like that.
Turmeric scrub.
Why the? Yeah, it is. I got it right.
Too close. You can move it back a little bit.
I got it right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. Let me see something. How about that? Yeah, it is. That's it right up, hey.
Yeah.
Turmeric scrub. Uh-huh. All right, everybody. So there.
Beard oil.
Keep that beard going, man. Keep that beard going, huh? Yeah, I put it on my beard, man. That's why my beard always be growing. And then,
Beard balm.
yep, all you gotta do is rub it in.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah. Now, this right here, now this bar right here, you need to get this, Ant. Anthony, you need to get that bar, man. That's that vision bar, man. Everybody get that bar. But we got plenty, but you gotta tell them you got plenty of other bars, huh?
Yeah, you got to go on the website at shop.crawfordnaturals.com and you can see all the men's products that I have.
Everybody, like I said, please support the brand, Crawford Natural. Like I said, and we just working on some stuff, hopefully this take off, to help, and especially with the men, you groom yourself, man. That's the biggest problem a lot of times with men. We don't really ever groom ourselves. We just go to work, and never really take care of ourselves. And I think that's sometimes is. I know my mom. I used to always ask. My mom used to always during the summer, she would make, me wear sandals. I'm like, Mom, why do I want sandals? She was like, no, you need to let your toes air out and stuff. So it worked out. My toes are not, I got nice looking feet. So, what I'm saying? Do I, babe? Why I can't see your head. I see the top of your head. It's like this.
Because I'm sitting down.
Yeah. And so I don't want everybody. I don't want nobody to think I'm lying. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it worked out. My mom. I used to hate wearing the Buster Brown sandals, man. I felt like I don't know. I felt like I was on a short bus or something with them brown sandals on, man. But they work. So So now to this day, and I tried it with my sons, then, but everybody want to wear sneakers. So and I think they got pretty good feet. Thing about them, one thing they'll tell you like your dad tried that with they were more like flops. So anyway, everybody, just want to say, man, I know we what me and I was talking about today. Me and my wife was talking about today was just really about trying to get everybody to just do simple things. I mean, you think
Save
about
money
it.
for the future.
Yeah, just
Save for,
simple.
for retirement. Listen,
Yeah, you know, something
make that a
simple.
priority.
Yeah, something simple is, and the names are really kind of go along with it. I mean, simple IRA is this, and the simplified IRA is that. It's pretty self-explanatory. But I would tell everybody, you know, read about it, go to your institution, your banking institution, and talk to them, credit union, whatever you bank with, and just get to know them and talk to them. Say, hey, look, I somebody was telling me about, you know, I got a little small LLC, and once you get money in there, think about it, build your credit that way, build your credit, work with the bank. The bank see you, you know, putting your money in their account and enter it into this institution. They, you know, and you got an LLC, they'll be, you know, quick to lend you money. So, you know, not, you know, saying there's got to be a lot. I mean, you might do something as small as $100, some small as $2,500. You know, but just think about it. You know, to start something small. But anyway, everybody, you know, that's what we got today. It was a simple IRA versus the SEP IRA. Like I said, you know, it'll be on YouTube, our YouTube page. Go to our YouTube page. You want to see more about it and everything. But other than that, you know, hey, we had Crawford Logistics and Associates. Another good, you know, like I always say, another day above ground is a good day. Just want to tell everybody, all right, man, peace. See y'all next Tuesday. All right, peace. All right, everybody.